So if we look back, and that was just the data that we saw, I do have some clarifying questions that I'd like to ask about the data that I collected.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question is simply, I wonder if starting the Do Now activity in a whole group approach, like the entire group, you stop them after the startup and you start them in a whole group approach, how do you think that would impact the entire class and then trickle down to these two students?
Actually, it's funny because I had given them like a worksheet to do the solfege, to mark solfege. And yesterday in the warm-up, I had them sing a little line of solfege with the music and look at it. So today I changed it, and I just put it on the board and we did 2 lines together.
Okay.
So I asked the class, what's the key signature, what's the time signature, and then from the key signature, we filled in the solfege.
Gotcha.
So we did it together, which I think it helped the participation, but I think it would help them because then you're kind of talking it through with them, and then they can hear it out loud if they can't, read or write, then they can at least talk through it and hear it. And more auditory, visual stuff. That might help them.
Okay. I think that's a great strategy. I think that you're already beginning to pick up on things that, because they're auditory learners, just like you just said. So that's a great strategy, and I would encourage you to continue to do that. Because there is the moment in time where you really want them to all get started at the same time, and to eliminate having to, continually telling students to get started, which I heard you say gets these two students off task. It's hard to get them started. That whole group startup may indeed be a better approach. You get everybody quiet, and then you say today's do now is make sure they have the paper in their hand, and then have them all start, so that there's not a continuous struggle to get them started. Once you say go, you've got them all going at the same time. And I really like that you connected to the fact that you have to really cue in on that they're auditory learners. My next question I have was, I wonder if B1, the taller student, would refrain from shout-outs if he was called upon at the onset of your Q&A, at the end of your Do Now activity where you review it when you ask the questions. What do you think about that?
That would probably work pretty well for him because, like you said, he's really anxious to start all the time. He's enthusiastic about everything, so maybe asking him the question first, and him answering it quickly and wanting to answer might trickle down to the other kids. Maybe bring them in a little more.
Mario Segovia, report to